They're two of the most advanced business jets in the world, built for long-range luxury and elite performance. The Gulfstream G500 and the Dassault Falcon Six-X go toe-to-toe in range, cabin design, and price. But only one delivers the best mix of power, comfort, and value. Today, we're breaking it all down, and one surprising difference might change which jet you'd choose. Cabin. Let's start where it matters most. You're not buying these planes to sit in the cockpit. You're buying them to live in that cabin at 45,000 feet. And this is where things get interesting. Right out of the gate, the Gulfstream G500 gives you a cabin that's 41 feet 6 inches long. Width comes in at 7 feet 7 inches, and you've got 6 feet 2 inches of headroom. That's legitimately stand-up space for most people. Gulfstream's oval windows are huge, 14 of them, each measuring 20 inches by 28 inches. These aren't airplane windows. These are practically picture frames at altitude. The cabin altitude at maximum cruise sits at 4,500 feet when you're at 51,000 feet actual altitude. That's one of the lowest cabin altitudes in the business, and your body will absolutely notice the difference on long flights. The G500 typically seats up to 19 passengers in a standard configuration, but most owners go with something between 8 and 12 in a luxury layout. Gulfstream's seats are legendary. They recline, they swivel, they fully articulate. The entire cabin management system runs through touchscreens and personal devices. Connectivity is handled through Gulfstream's Jet Connex Ka-band system, which is genuinely fast enough to stream and video conference without wanting to throw your laptop out one of those massive windows. Now the Falcon 6X. Dassault took a completely different approach here, and it shows. The cabin length stretches to 40 feet 4 inches, so the G500 has about a foot more length. But here's where Dassault makes their move. Width is 8 feet 6 inches. That's nearly a full foot wider than the Gulfstream. Height comes in at 6 feet 6 inches. 4 extra inches of headroom might not sound like much, but when you're 6'3" and walking through the cabin, you feel it. The Falcon 6X rocks 30 massive windows, not 14, 30. Dassault designed them to flood the cabin with natural light, and they absolutely deliver on that promise. The cabin altitude at cruise hits 3,900 feet. That's 600 feet lower than the G500, which means less fatigue, less dehydration, better sleep. It's not just marketing. The difference is physiologically measurable. Here's the real differentiator. The Falcon 6X has a dedicated crew rest area as an option. The G500 doesn't offer this. If you're running long international flights with crew duty time considerations, that matters. Both cabins are whisper quiet with full galleys and enclosed lavatories with windows. But that extra width in the Falcon and the lower cabin altitude give it a tangible edge in pure cabin comfort metrics. The G500 counters with those enormous windows and Gulfstream's reputation for cabin reliability and aftermarket support. Stick around until the end to see which one of these jets has a range advantage that'll actually change how you fly, plus the one hidden cost that nobody tells you about when comparing these aircraft. Cockpit. Let's talk about the business end of these planes. The Gulfstream G500 uses the Symmetry flight deck. This is Gulfstream's touchscreen-heavy cockpit design, with 10 touchscreens total. Active control side sticks give pilots tactile feedback. The enhanced vision system and synthetic vision primary flight display are standard. The entire system is designed around phase of flight intelligence, meaning the cockpit automatically configures itself based on what you're doing. Taxi, takeoff, cruise, approach. Gulfstream's predictive landing performance system is a genuine safety innovation. It calculates real-time runway conditions and tells you definitively whether you can stop on the available runway. No guessing, just data. The PlaneView 500 system integrates everything: flight planning, weather, traffic, terrain. 2 pilots can operate this airplane comfortably on any mission profile anywhere in the world. The Dassault Falcon 6X counters with their digital flight control system. This is a fly-by-wire setup, which is relatively rare in business aviation at this level. The Easy 3 flight deck, developed with Honeywell, features 3 large displays with a 4th one in the center for synoptics and systems management. Dassault's Falcon Sphere electronic flight bag is fully integrated, handling charts, performance calculations, and flight planning without needing third-party solutions. Here's what's interesting. Dassault's fly-by-wire system includes envelope protection. You physically cannot stall this airplane or overstress the airframe through pilot input alone. The flight controls won't let you. Some pilots love this. Some pilots hate this. But from a safety and insurance perspective, it's a massive advantage. The Six-X also features Dassault's combined vision system, which merges synthetic and enhanced vision into a single display. It's extraordinarily intuitive when you're shooting an approach in terrible weather. Engine and performance. Now let's talk about what actually moves these things through the air. The Gulfstream G500 is powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney Canada PW814GA engines. Each engine produces 15,125 pounds of thrust. Maximum cruise speed is 516 nautical miles per hour, which translates to roughly 594 miles per hour. Long-range cruise speed drops to 488 nautical miles per hour, about 562 miles per hour. Range at long-range cruise with 8 passengers is around 5,200 nautical miles. That's roughly 5,984 statute miles. That's New York to London with reserves. That's Los Angeles to London if you catch the winds right. Maximum operating altitude is 51,000 feet. The Dassault Falcon Six-X runs 2 Pratt & Whitney Canada PW812D engines. Each produces 13,450 pounds of thrust. Notice that's less thrust per engine than the G500. Maximum cruise speed comes in at 516 nautical miles per hour, essentially identical to the G500 at roughly 594 miles per hour. Long-range cruise is 470 nautical miles per hour, approximately 541 miles per hour. Here's where the Six-X makes its stand. Range at long-range cruise with 8 passengers is 5,500 nautical miles. That's roughly 6,328 statute miles. That's 300 nautical miles more than the G500, despite having less thrust. How? Aerodynamics and efficiency. Dassault has been building jets in France for decades, and they know how to make a slippery airplane. Price. Let's talk money. The Gulfstream G500 has a list price of approximately $47 million. Used market examples from recent years are trading in the $35 to $43 million range depending on age, hours, and configuration. Charter cost runs between $6,500 to $8,500 per flight hour depending on region, season, and availability. The Dassault Falcon Six-X lists for approximately $62 million. That's a $15 million premium over the G500 for a new aircraft. You're paying for that extra range, that wider cabin, and Dassault's brand positioning. Charter rates sit between $7,000 and $9,000 per flight hour, slightly higher than the G500 on average. So there it is. 2 completely different philosophies. The Gulfstream G500 gives you proven Gulfstream reliability, those massive windows, incredible cabin altitude, and a lower acquisition cost. The Dassault Falcon Six-X gives you more range, a wider cabin, fly-by-wire technology, and that lower cabin altitude that your body will thank you for. Which one wins? That depends entirely on your mission profile. If you're primarily flying domestic U.S. routes or transatlantic with occasional Pacific trips, the G500 saves you $15 million and delivers everything you need. If you're regularly flying longer international routes, especially Pacific crossings or Asia to North America, that extra 300 nautical miles of range on the Six-X isn't just a luxury. It's the difference between making the trip non-stop or adding a fuel stop. Neither airplane is a bad choice. You genuinely cannot go wrong with either one. But now you know exactly what you're getting for your money. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the world of ultimate luxury, a like and a subscription would mean the world. And for those who dream of flying in style, click right here to watch our video on the best light jet comparison, the Embraer Phenom 300E versus the Citation CJ4. See you in the skies.